This is Matthew Kratter's Bitcoin University. Today I want to talk about Bitcoin nodes and eternal riches, 6.15 Bitcoin. We'll be talking about that meme at the end. But first, a follow-up to yesterday's video, which is about how to check if your Bitcoin is real. It's very important that everyone understands how this works. The basic summary was the only way to know for sure that you're holding real Bitcoin that has not already been spent is to run your own node and verify your own BTC for yourself. If you're not running your own node, you're then forced to trust other people's or even other corporations' nodes, and they may or may not always have your best interest in mind. The basic workflow to verify that you're holding real BTC: you download the Sparrow Wallet on your laptop or desktop. You spin up a Bitcoin Knots node. Using Start9 is probably the easiest way to do this today. You connect Sparrow Wallet to your Knots node, and then you link your hardware wallet to Sparrow, and doing this in an air-gapped fashion is best. See the links in the description notes, which I'll put below if you want to see how to do this for yourself. But first, a few responses to that video. Kung Tech Fu saying, thanks for your efforts, but you didn't tell us how to identify real Bitcoin. What's the identifiable difference? My response: your node will examine the entire history of Bitcoin transactions to make sure that the Bitcoin you're holding at addresses that you control is actually real and hasn't already been spent. It will trace your Bitcoin all the way back to the original Coinbase transaction where it first emerged, when it was first mined. Ashkin965 writes, buy from Binance, Coinbase, and send to your Trezor. Doesn't need to be that complicated. The idea of not trusting anyone is a dream. You trust a restaurant not to poison you, for example. My response: the whole ethos of Bitcoin is to verify, not trust, but you do you, and definitely don't eat at restaurants you don't trust. Zinamulba9679 writes, or you could just check the blockchain using your public address to see if the Bitcoin stored at that address is available on the blockchain. My response: if you use a public blockchain explorer for this, you are trusting that explorer and the people and the node behind it for this data. Also, it's not a good idea to do this since it links your Bitcoin addresses to your IP address unless you're using Tor or VPN. And if you're using a VPN, you have to trust that they're not keeping logs. So what he was suggesting is you could just drop your Bitcoin address in this search box here. This is a public instance of Mempool.space. It's run by the company itself, and they're using their own node for this. And I believe they're good actors, but if they weren't, you would have a problem if you linked your IP address to your Bitcoin addresses by using the website in this fashion. That's why whenever I want to check this, I prefer to use Start9 installed on my personal server, and then you can click here on the Mempool app, and what you'll see here is the same app, but this is running using data from my own node. And so I know all of this is true. It's not just being fed to me. You could, for example, some governments, some hostile actors could take over this company. And again, what we're involved here is not saying these things are probable, but we're talking about developing this habit of adversarial thinking, which is very important as a Bitcoiner. But some company could take over, or some government could take over this website or their node, and they could start to feed people fake data, or this website could just completely go down, in which case you'd have no way to run it unless you were running your own server. But this is basically my own personal instance of Mempool, and this is taking data from my Bitcoin Knots node. If you want to interact with the Bitcoin network, you need to be using someone's node, so you might as well use your own. So that's the problem with this suggestion, just checking the blockchain. Again, that's fine. You are checking a third or fourth party from the hardware wallet and the software and the node, etc., but you're still trusting a third party. So it's great to be able to learn how to do all of this for yourself. If you're enjoying this video so far, I just ask you to help to support this channel's educational mission. Hit the subscribe button. That does really help. Leave a like, leave a comment, question, suggestion for a future video, and share this video with a friend or family member. Gear for the Year writes, Sparrow Wallet could just as easily fake your balance as Ledger could. I get that it's closed source software, meaning Ledger is, but open source software hardly prevents scams from occurring unless you're extremely tech savvy and diligent. At the end of the day, it's trust all the way down. Removing as many variables as you can is always good, but Ledger/Coldcards are just one of those variables out of a dozen or more. Open source Coldcards are hardly free from vulnerabilities. My response: open source software with many eyes on it is safer than closed source software. Also, in the case of Sparrow, plus a connected hardware wallet that's been built and designed by a different company, the case of Sparrow plus a connected hardware wallet, it would require both Sparrow and the hardware wallet maker to collude to rug you. It's more difficult for two organizations to collude than one organization to rug you. EMH Channel 2842 writes, couldn't you also verify the real existence of your Bitcoin by importing your wallet into Sparrow using the seed phrase? I assume Ledger has no way to hide reality from Sparrow correct? My response, yes, but it's not a good idea to use Sparrow as a hot wallet like this. For example, your computer could have malware like a keylogger that monitors your typing and sends your seed to the attacker over the internet. So this is why you don't want to take a seed, 12 or 24 words from a hardware wallet, and just type it blindly into your laptop or desktop. Even if you're running a good version of Sparrow, there could be a keylogger, there could be malware. The whole point of this is you never type your seed into any device except a hardware wallet, and one that you verified and is from a legitimate company. It's quite different to start entering seeds on your laptop or desktop. So my response goes on, what you could do is connect your Sledger or other hardware wallet to Sparrow as a connected hardware wallet. That way the seed never leaves the hardware wallet. Basically, it just exports the XPub to Sparrow, and Sparrow uses that to look up all your Bitcoin addresses. I go on to say, of course, that would only make sense if you have no reasons to distrust Sledger, the company, and their products. But what we're talking about here is a diverse stack that uses node software and then hardware wallets made by one company, and then software that's free and open source made by another group, namely Sparrow. And so this is one way. It is still trust all the way down. But if you're using the products, in my hypothetical example, Sledger, in yesterday's video, Sledger created the hardware wallet, they created the software, and you were trusting their node. So you were trusting everything. So even if it is trust all the way down, by diversifying across vendors, you can have much more reassurance that you're not being somehow fooled by a single corporation. HRAC, not sure how to say the name, or maybe if you download infected Sparrow or even good executables, then got infected, they could steal your phrases. Now this is true, but it's not true to the extent that your seed remains on your Coldcard, for example, even when you're linking it to Sparrow. Sparrow never sees that. And then you're doing this in an air-gapped manner. And it's also very important when you're downloading Sparrow to make sure you're at sparrowwallet.com. Don't go to some Telegram room to get assistance. There are a lot of scammers who prey on the Sparrow ecosystem because it's free and open source. But one way to make sure that you're at least getting the release that the developer, that Craig Raw, has approved and wants you to get, you can verify the release, which is under here, under download. And I'll put a link to all this in the description notes below. But that's one way to make sure that you are getting the correct signed software and that changes haven't been made to it. Sam Magner writes, I see the subtle American Hodl reference here. I was talking about 6.15 Bitcoin in yesterday's video, and a number of you got that. If you weren't around in 2019 or 2020, which is really right at the beginning of when I was beginning my Bitcoin journey, this is a little piece of Bitcoin lore that I thought I would unearth. It seems like ages ago. It's funny, it's only 5 or 6 years ago, but it all began with this tweet from CZ at Binance saying, if you own 1 Bitcoin, you're mathematically guaranteed to be in the top 3 out of 1,000 richest in the world in BTC terms, basically dividing 21 million into 7 billion people. This was a tweet from August 25th, 2019. And you had some funny responses to it. Peter McCormick talking about owning 1 potato. We have Anders here saying, too bad that the global powers are going to go with XRP. It's just kind of sad that turned out not to be true. But perhaps the most famous response was the one from American Hodl. He was using an account that subsequently got deleted, which is why his response doesn't show up here. And he actually had a bunch of accounts deleted. But basically, this was his famous quote. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can see it on your screen. If you own 6.15 Bitcoin, you are guaranteed to get eternal riches. And then we'll just say to get women as well. And American Hodl is a great guy. He's married, has a family, etc. And so this really is tongue-in-cheek. Some people will find it offensive. I think a lot of guys will find it funny, and it's funny to the extent that he's not really serious about this. You can follow him on Twitter at American Hodl 8, and you can also watch a couple episodes with him. He's a very smart guy. I enjoyed this interview he did on What Bitcoin Did, called How the State Captures Bitcoin with American Hodl. You can also follow him on Primal. And the way you get on Primal is you can download the Primal app, you can download the Damus app, and this basically Primal app allows you to view all this through a web browser, but it's best to use one of these apps. So go over there, follow American Hodl, very smart guy. And while you're there, you can also follow my account. A lot of people don't realize I have this as a backup. And I also, I probably should be interacting a little bit more on Nostr because I do like it, but I post all my videos there. So if, for example, this YouTube channel were to go down or be deleted, you can still follow me on Nostr. And I'm going to try to update Rumble as well. There are a couple other responses to to American Hodl's 6.15 Bitcoin meme. I like this one from Katie at Plan B Passport. Girls who hodl 6.15 Bitcoin will get supportive husbands with dashboard abs. Basically, I think she means washboard abs, who always listens and does the dishes, but is also weirdly mysterious and very exciting, possibly secret agent, basically Brad Pitt from Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So this meme goes back a long way. And back in 2020, it was certainly much easier to get 6.15 Bitcoin than it is today. It requires over $600,000, obviously. My favorite version, though, of the 6.15 Bitcoin meme is this one from Autistic Hodl. This is what 6.15 Bitcoin buys you. Two people fell in love in 1974, and then we can see how their family grows from there. They had 13 kids and 10 in-laws so far. Basically, you get where this is going, which led to 54 grandkids and 2 great-grandkids as well. So I think this is the more wholesome version of the meme, though I love all versions of the meme. And it's very interesting to see how Bitcoin culture has been developing over the years. There's so many memes, there's so many things that come and go, but it's interesting to see how they develop. Final reminder before we end today, I'm doing my monthly live Zoom class tomorrow, Saturday, June 28th at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. To get access, as I talked about yesterday, just take a look at the link, click on the link in the pinned comment below or the description notes below, and you'll also get access to all my recorded live classes. These are master classes and everything from non-KYC Bitcoin to how to set up your own Lightning node, to how to do UTXO consolidation, border wallets, passphrases, multi-sig, etc. So I'll put a link to that, and tomorrow after the class, I'll be uploading a recording of the live class in case you're not able to make it in real time. A recording of the live class will be posted here as well on the paid side. So be sure to check that out. If you've exhausted my material on YouTube and you really want to do some more advanced things, these live classes tend to be on the more advanced side, just to warn you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.